Alright, so today we're going to do rear brakes on the 2020 Gladiator. We're going to start off loosening the lugs here, and we'll jack it up. And we already chalked the front wheels too for safety, so we don't have to worry about that. Alright, get to the brake pads here. It's pretty simple. You basically just got to take off the bolts in the back that hold the caliper in place. Should be 10 millimeter if I remember correctly. Should be 10 millimeter. We can get these slides out. We'll grease them too when we change the pads out. Pads aren't looking too terrible, but it's been a while. I got the parts. We're gonna swap them out anyway, so we'll get started on that. Let me grab my wrench. Maybe throw my jacks in under here too, just in case. You never know. Always have to be a little overcautious and not need it than the other way around. So let's go ahead and get started there. Alright, 10 millimeter socket. Push these pins in, they move pretty well. Should free up our caliper. There it is. Let me grab. I like these little hook tools, so when you're doing your brakes, you don't have to zip tie the caliper up or anything like that. These will hold it for you. You just gotta find somewhere you can hang it. Alright. That's out. Oh, and while you're in here, you probably want to clean out, if you're like me and you take it off-road, all this crap that we got built up in here. Get all that out while we're in here. So we use this hook, hold the weight of the caliper. We don't want to put any stress on the lines. Used to always use a C-clamp to tighten these back up. They got these new little tools that came out a couple years ago. They're pretty slick. Basically a ratchet with 2 plates on it. Makes opening these calipers up for your new pads a lot easier. Just put this in here and press that piston back in. Might not have to go all the way, but it's easy enough, and then just pump the brakes when I'm done. And we'll get everything back to where it needs to be, but this way I'm not fighting it over the new pads going in. There we go, just shrink it up a little bit. And we're done. That is back in. Easy peasy. Right. Let's get the old pads out. Just use a flathead screwdriver here. We'll pop out our old pads. Which they're not done yet, but they ain't great either. Alright. Well, yeah, I'd say they're not done, but I'm gonna definitely swap them out. Like I said, I got the parts. I've done the front ones probably last summer, so these ones are due. That little tab broke off up there. It'll still hold it. I don't know. They usually come with it, but we'll take a look and make sure. And I'll just remember, I like to put them back in the same way. So since this one had the little wear bar on the outside top, that's where we'll put the new one at. But while we're in here, rotor's not looking terrible. I mean, it's every time I'm in here, I always check. You can see how much dirt is just in my rotors because of off-roading this thing, but it's not going to change. So We'll clean up some dirt in here while we're at it. And the one thing I want to do before we jump back in with the pads is check these. So these don't look bad, but I'm going to clean them up with a rag and re-grease them, just because if these stick, whereas your brake pad's all funny, you don't want to be dealing with any of that stuff. Can't say it's the right thing to use, but this simple kind of like wheel bearing grease stuff is usually what I've always just done. Seems to hold up pretty well, especially with the gunk you get in on these things. Usually a lot of brake dust will build up in there, and then if you're driving an off-road vehicle, you get the dirt and the sand and all the other crap. So we'll just grease her up real good. Going back in. And the one thing you want to make sure is to get this boot, the seat back. That way it'll help keep gunk from getting in there and actually gunking up that and stopping that grease from working and sliding. So we're good there. Clean up my little bit of excess I had. But now we got a nice motion on that one. We'll just rinse and repeat on the top one, see what it looks like. You want to be careful when you're pulling these apart. You don't want to tear those boots. So again, this one's not terrible looking, but while you're in here, there's no reason not to do them. So now we're good. We got another nice greased up. So let me go grab my brake pads I got sitting off screen so they're out of the rain. Alright, brake pads are right here, and just to kind of go over, so they weren't gone, but that is what I took off. This is the pad I'm putting on. So a little bit of a difference, so we'll be good. Keep us being able to brake, and also got a nice long trip coming out. Gonna be over 4,500 miles all said and done for some off-roading out west, so I need to make sure we're not running into any mechanical issues that can be easily avoided. So some of this preventative maintenance will go a long way on that kind of stuff. So let's get this one in here. Those ones went in nice and easy. Squared against the rotor. Let's grab our brake caliper. Just knock out some more of that gunk I got wedged in there. There's dirt inside the piston. There's dirt and mud everywhere, but it is what it is, right? Alright. Pinched it easily enough that it fits. We'll just push in these 2 bars there. Alright. Nice and simple. Start our bolts here. And these things don't go uber tight. That's probably more than enough. That was tighter than it was. Alright, don't want to over torque that. So should be all good there. Just check that one. Oh yeah, nice and good. So we're all back together. Now it's as simple as put the wheel back on, torque the lugs down, rinse and repeat on the other side. Once both sides are done, hop in, pump the brakes to reset the pads where they go, and we're done. So we'll get this wheel on, and then we'll get the other side out of here. Downside with some of these off-road wheels is you can't see. There we go. Alright, grab my torque wrench. These tighten up the smooth before we drop it. Alright, touch the wheel with the ground, finish roll. Alright, torquing down. Alright, and that's it. Nice and simple rear brake pad swap. So, come to the other side, won't make y'all watch that, but hopefully if anybody had any questions, that basically covers it. Really doesn't get much easier than that for brake pads.